So the one thing you want to remember about third-party management is they don't treat the property typically like they own it. And by third party, I mean you hire a management company to manage the property for you, and you basically manage the management company. I'm not talking these are your own employees or your own staff. That's another story for another time. But what you'll find with most management companies is that they do not manage the property like they own it. You know, their job is to basically babysit the property day in and day out. Okay, so I have conversations with owners about this all the time, and they're usually frustrated because you know, they find out that maybe the management company hasn't raised rent. You know, Mabel in apartment 7's had the same rent now for 4 years. You know, there's been a problem tenant in apartment 12 and they haven't got rid of that tenant. Why wouldn't they get rid of them? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Way, you know, because they don't do it like, they don't manage it like they own it, and they're not you. You know, so you've got to emotionally like get over that. You have to emotionally know that stuff isn't going to happen like you think it should, when you think it should, and things are going to be handled in a manner that you think should be handled. Okay, and that's not to say that it's bad. That I'm not saying that third party management companies are bad. They're not, but they just look at the world differently than you do. They babysit your property from sun up to sundown, and even through the night. Okay, why would they put this kind of resident in this apartment? You know, I never would have done that. I mean, you know, I could tell you story after story after story. So here's like the key to all of this. If you have a third-party management company, I'm going to tell you what I do. I'm on them all the time. Okay, so we have third-party management for quite a few of our properties that are under 70 units. So a 24 unit here, 12 unit there, 4 unit here. So we have third-party management handle those. At least right now that's the case. And so, I mean, I'm talking to them 2-3 times a week, minimum. I'm reading the reports that they're sending. So you want to micromanage, but not in a suffocating, over-the-top way. But they do need to be micromanaged a little bit, because they just want to get through the day. They want the tenants happy. That's what we want to. They don't want to have vacancies. They want the properties full. They make more money that way. Plus, it's less time, hassle, effort, and energy to do turnovers. That's what we want to. Okay. But they're not keeping an eye on your expenses. So they're typically not choosing the lowest cost provider for X, Y, or Z. Not all the time. They're not on top of keeping your rents to market level. That's really your job. Or if you have an asset manager, and this is like subcontractor or something, then you know that is that's their job. You know, I've seen units hundreds of dollars under market that are being managed by third-party management companies, because they'll more often than not look for you to tell them if and when it's time to raise rent. Don't expect them to be proactive. Okay? Don't expect them to be proactive in terms of building your property's value or increasing its value. Okay? Don't expect them to be proactive in terms of increasing your income of the property. They want to be proactive in babysitting. Right? We want to make sure everybody's happy, everything's good. Bills are paid on time, the maintenance call is taken care of, the water leak is fixed, the toilet that's plugged is taken care of, the eviction that needs to happen over here is done. So that's their world. Not how do we increase the value of the property. That's not their world. And so you need to emotionally get over that and handle that if it's something that, is important to you, and it should be. So a lot of times when we're contacted to sell a property for somebody, so somebody wants to sell their whatever their apartment community. If they don't live here, they're out of state, or if they do live here but they've been really hands off. Almost every time they're shocked to find out. You mean that my rent's $50, $80, $100 less than where it needs to be? You mean I'm overpaying for this? You mean I'm doing, so they don't find that stuff out because they're not paying attention, and they're assuming, wrong by the way, that the management company will raise rents as high as they possibly can, will reduce their expenses as much as they can, will proactively help them raise the value of their property as much as they can. No, they won't. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's just reality. They're there to manage the property, not to increase income and increase value. That's not their job. Okay. So again, emotionally, you got to get over that, and you got to figure out a way to deal with that.